Hey, what's going on, guys? Crusader Kings III has just rolled out the Scribe update, and this one is a really big quality of life pass layered on top of new content, balance changes, and a ton of fixes with support for Chapter 5 content built right in. Paradox says the update brings new features for all Crusader Kings III owners, and it also unlocks the Chapter 5 pre-order bonus Symbols of Authority alongside the new cosmetics tied to the expansion pass. And honestly, one of the most interesting changes here is how the game handles character stories. The old Situations tab now shows personal, character-bound stories, which means things like having a pet dog, being a conqueror, or following unique story cycles are much easier to read at a glance. Instead of these feeling buried in the background, they now come with names, icons, and modular pieces that make them feel more like part of your character's life than just hidden event chains. Paradox also updated a huge number of existing special chains to use that system, including pets, doppelganger-style events, imaginary friend content, and decision-driven storylines like book translations and commissioning epics. Another huge shift is the new aging system. Older characters can now develop tiered elder traits depending on genetics, lifestyle, and age, and those traits can worsen over time. Instead of the old infirm setup doing all the work, the game now adds faltering heart, fragile bones, clouded eyes, and withering mind, along with new aging events and even a new animation style that shows up in character view when someone is truly in rough shape. That means age is no longer just a number on the character sheet. It becomes a more visible part of long-term planning, succession, and court management. On the presentation side, this patch gives players a lot more control. The barbershop now has a much-requested color picker for clothes, with support for up to 16 customizable colors. And yes, Paradox even fixed the weird issue where horses could end up painted pink by accident. The ruler designer also got a big upgrade with portrait zoom, more camera angles, optional profile portrait hiding, lighting choices, exact gene values, click-to-set sliders, and better layout options. On top of that, the update adds event nameplates, so you can quickly see who a character is, what their relationship is to you, and what they think of you, without the UI blocking the portrait as much as before. There is also a strong travel and court management angle here. Travel planning now supports quick edit mode with Shift, so you can add or remove waypoints much faster, and points of interest can be clicked straight from the map in the planner. The update also introduces knight permissions, letting you set who is and is not allowed to serve as a knight, including minimum prowess limits and filters for people like your heir or counselors. And if you spend time in the royal court, there is now a dedicated court visuals tab, while Chinese culture gets a brand new royal court type, including the unique Dragon's Mandate, a court setup that only appears when selected manually. The Ledger is another standout addition because this is the kind of tool players have been asking for forever. It now gives you a proper window for browsing the realm, characters, houses, holdings, counties, titles, faiths, and cultures, with extra tabs for the richest, strongest, and most famed characters, plus ranking views for duchies, kingdoms, empires, and hegemonies. You can favorite items, compare values, sort by all kinds of stats, and even build or interact with holdings right from the Ledger. In other words, this is not just a glorified menu, it is a genuine power tool for planning conquest, theft, diplomacy, and bragging rights. The Accolades system also got a serious rework. Instead of the old primary and secondary structure, Accolades now start with one attribute and unlock more through achievements by both the knight and the ruler. Succession has been simplified, the UI is clearer, the old tedium has been trimmed away, and the game now tries harder to keep Accolades meaningful rather than just being another layer of chores. Paradox also tightened ownership rules, prevented duplicate stacking, made Accolades more special by restricting them to dukes and above, and even adjusted combat and succession behavior so the system works more cleanly across the board. Beyond that, this update is packed with game content changes and balance tweaks. Nomads get new tools like Overrun Duchy, weaker AI nomads can collapse into herders, Chinese and East Asian systems got new invasion and succession handling, Kingdom Come Deliverance II got a collaboration with Henring and start dates, plus Trotsky Castle and music tracks, and the game now includes new decisions, cultural traditions, and governance tweaks across the map. Balance-wise, Paradox also reduced how often some events fire, changed domain limit progression, adjusted travel event frequency, and tuned things like Varangian veterans, education, and various AI behaviors to make the game feel less noisy and more focused on characters that actually matter. And of course, the bug fix list is absolutely massive. There are fixes for multiplayer desyncs, holding court issues, ledger errors, accession edge cases, broken localization, invisible UI problems, incorrect triggers, weird faction behavior, travel exploits, accidental self-targeting, and a long list of issues tied to adventurers, nomads, accolades, and Eastern systems. Paradox also notes one known issue at the end of the notes. Cross-platform multiplayer is still having stability problems. So, while this update adds a lot, it is also clearly doing the unglamorous work of making the game healthier underneath everything else.